live from my basement, KCB Productions. We're taken over by Squid Game again, and today we're talking to the infamous player 098, the loudmouth himself, the villain.
Wait, is he a villain or is he a good guy?
Or is he?
But he is
might
bald.
be a hero. I'm Steven, player 243.
I'm Chase.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're the KC boys. Let's get right into it.
All right, let's get right into it. And I did want to ask before so we don't screw it up continually, do you prefer Matt, Maddie, Matthew, or Madeline?
Matt's good.
Matt's good? Okay, good. I appreciate you taking the time to be here, dog. For real, you were absolutely one of the most entertaining players on Squid Game, and getting to hear your side of the story, I think is going to be enlightening. So,
before we jump into this, what are your thoughts on Brighton, player 432 from season 1?
I don't think Brighton needed much of an edit. He is who he was. You know what I'm saying? He went on the show exactly, Rique Suave, and that's how he appeared on the screen. I also saw he made a little message to us about complaining about certain conditions and whatnot, and us thinking that we had it hard, but we should have been in his shoes. So he's authentic. I'm okay with him.
Yeah, very authentic, I've noticed. He's kind of douchey, but talking to him in person, he's regular to me, but, I mean, we're kind of the same age, I guess, so. Yeah, seems cool to me, but
been causing a storm on social media?
Oh, yeah, did you see his his thread with the football player from season 2 talking about boxing? Did you see all that?
No, I think I saw a part of it, but I flipped right through it. But I did see something with it, but not 100% exactly what it was dealing with. What was it about?
Yeah, so Brighton was running his mouth on a post talking about all these grown ass men crying, man, they're soft as fuck. And then the big guy, the football player from season 2, I can't remember his name or number.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes.
He comes in like,
was it Marcus or was that somebody else?
I don't remember. He comes in and is like, let's pretty much fucking box it out.
Yeah.
And record it, and yeah, it was a whole little thing on
I don't
Brighton's
mind
page.
authentic from Brighton. I mean, I feel like he's got one wave to ride. The second season came out. He might as well hop on saying whatever he can to get some attention. I'm all right with it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, let's get into it, Matt.
More power to him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was being forgotten about, and it was hurting his feelings. So he picked on the biggest guy.
True.
And I also, while I'm thinking about it, he was complaining about people crying, and I noticed that you did your fair share
we'll
of
get
crying.
to that. We'll get to that.
You want to wait till later?
I guess we could jump straight into that one because I have written down, which you, I think even in one of your interviews, Matt said you can crown command, which I respect.
That is
there was
gangster.
a whole lot of crying, but I rewatched it twice. I didn't see a single tear. Are you able to elaborate?
Sure. So I'm a Sagittarius, right? I can get emotional, right? But sometimes you have to take the real emotions on what you're feeling and put it into a certain situation.
Mhm.
They did a voiceover when I was going on that whole voting situation, and I was feeling a lot of emotions about what I was going on, being away from home, being away from my family, listening to people snore to the left, to the right, up and down. A lot of things were getting to me, days were turning into weeks. I was there for 2 weeks. And I felt like it was appropriate to take those emotions and let them come out during the time. They only showed you about a minute of it, but I was on that stage for about at least 7 minutes, telling them how I felt, about missing my family, how I didn't want to put anybody up for elimination because we all deserve the money. But I was feeling a lot of emotions, not because of I was sad in the moment of being eliminated, but because I was missing my family. But I felt like I needed them to see an emotional side of me because at that time I needed them on my side to keep me in the game. So
Smart.
when it came to the marbles playing against Pete, when I knew I had to go against Pete, the comedian, that was the best sleep of my life, knowing I had to go against him. And of course, that wasn't really sad, but it's a sad moment, so you want to kind of look like you're sad. So I did the best I could. But there were some moments that I was actually emotionally upset, and going up against the twin on a vote, I was emotionally upset, and I needed them to hear that.
Channeling the real emotion into gameplay, advancing emotion.
World-class
100%.
actor, this man.
Oh, snap. Yeah, that was good stuff, man. So you weren't sad one bit to have eliminated Pete at Marbles?
Yeah, what'd you say?
You weren't upset 1% at having eliminated Pete during the marbles?
Oh no, I mean I never spoke to Pete. We really never had much of conversations. I know he was offering his sister out to certain players. That was on the show as well, which is hysterical. He's a great guy, but I mean, if I would have won, I would have got him his tooth. He said he was missing a tooth.
Uh,
As far as the Burger King, that was on his own, but he's a great guy. But there was no emotional attachment like Perla and her brother or Kurt and Zoe.
Yeah, that was all good stuff. So leading up to like the casting process and all that, what aspects of your personality do you think made them select you to participate in the games?
Well, look, when I filled out the initial application, they called me. I had them sold within like the first minute they called me. So I remember I was sitting by a deli, and they said, this is Squid Games. We're calling you back. We want to see if you're still interested. And I said, how do you feel? And the producer said, I feel pretty good. Thanks for asking. And I said to her again, no, how do you feel? And she goes, I don't understand the question. And I said to her, how do you feel that you're the person responsible for putting through the winner to the next round of casting producers? And she loved she
Respect.
loved the confidence. So they already knew whatever I like there. Look, this is how I am. If I'm gonna open my car door for my girlfriend day one, I should do it 6 months and 6 years down the line. That's who I am. Don't put on a front, just in the beginning.
Mad
If you're gonna
respect.
do something, do it all the way through. And they already knew with me, that's exactly what they were gonna get. Now, I don't even have any regrets. I mean, someone coming from New York, I had a twin that knew what the plan was, put himself in the front, and then all of a sudden he can't throw me a ball 4 feet away. My 4-year-old could have made that throw, and now he wants to turn around and decide he can't do it. So of course, naturally, I'm going to put you on the spot. Now, from what I saw in season one, Trey kept his mouth quiet. He didn't say anything to Ashley from what they showed. But if you're going to make me look like a fool and you're going to turn your back and not keep the promise that you committed to, I'm going to say something to you and I'm going to put you on the spot. Did that hurt my game? It absolutely did. But the producers knew that's who they were getting. I wasn't going to change who I was.
I respect that, and that it does lead to my next question. I was going to ask because it's a fine tightrope of advocating for yourself, but also not putting a target on your own back. I was going to ask during catch. That was obviously you're in the game the whole time, but during catch was like for TV for the final cut to edit the show. That was when you were really introduced to the whole audience of it was a plan for the twin to throw it. He was getting ready to throw it somewhere else. You aggressively and loudly advocated for yourself to make it happen. I was like, I fuck with this dude. So tell us about all the thoughts going into that.
Yeah, so it was I would say a good 5-minute conversation. As he's walking away from the line, he's like, I'm not going to throw you the ball. And I'm like, all right, so I'm starting low. And the more he's telling me he's not going to do it, it's starting to make my pressure rise. And I get to a point where I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Not only did you just make a promise to me and this team, but now you put yourself and your brother in the front of the line. So regardless, whatever you do, if you're going to throw me the ball or not, you already hurt yourself, okay? Because you told people that you have a strategy, and your strategy is just to keep yourself and your brother in the game. So after a few minutes of getting this guy to come back down to reality, I got him to throw the ball to me, but the damage was already done. Now, I had to get loud, but my team kind of knew what was going on. I had to now go back in the dorm and let everybody else know, look, this guy made a promise that he was going to throw us the ball, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he decides he needs to throw the ball 12 inches away to somebody else because he can't make a 4-foot catch. So he hurt himself there. And I didn't just start high. I went from low and I started going up. And then as his body was turning 180, I finally got him to come back to reality. But at that time, the damage was already done. But I don't regret it because I got him to do what he promised, which was throw me the ball so that we can keep the ball on our side until it got to the worst person possible. And then we give the ball to somebody else and let them deal with it.
Well done. Very well done.
Yeah, that was one of the worst moves he could have made, was not just instantly throwing the ball to you.
It wasn't the worst
Right,
move
exactly.
because of that. It was because he was giving up on his team and he called him out.
That's what I'm saying. Putting
Yeah.
himself in the front, giving up, causing a whole scene that just put the massive targets on their backs.
I'm glad that the final edit reflected that, because that's when I became a fan of you, Matt. I was like, this dude understands the difference between kind of staying under the radar but advocating for himself when he needs to. and then getting the attention off of you by calling out his
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Now, also, I coach a lot of my kids' baseball, right? My son's baseball,
That's
and I become like a nut job. Like I'm those guys. Like, come on, you got to effing want it. You kidding me? So I amp them up, and a lot of people that are not on my team are gonna find that annoying, irritating. But I don't care. I got to get my team into the game. I got to get them motivated.
Yeah.
So
There's a
when
lot
I'm
of
on the bleachers and I'm voting and I'm telling my team, let's go, stick with it, I'm building up their confidence. But in the same time, I'm also hurting myself because all these other players are like, oh, this guy's got to go, and I let them see how much of a strong opponent I was too early in the game. But it set me up for the next move, which is when I had to vote for the twin. I kind of knew I had that on my advantage because he was the only person I could pick to remain in the game.
Let me ask, because that's actually leads right into my next question. You were tasked to select another player to go directly against head-to-head and pretty much a popularity contest. So following up Catch, what events happened on and off camera that went into your selection for the twin and knowing that you are feeling confident going into that vote?
Yeah. So when the nesting doll came out, all right, remember the nesting doll came out on the floor? They didn't really explain the rules too good. So the first guy opened it up, and we thought we can continue opening it. We didn't think that we could just stop. We didn't know we have to hear the music again, and that person can go around, has to wait a couple minutes and before he picks the next person.
It was all a game within a game.
The what?
It was all a game within a game.
Yeah. So Austin opened it up, and it's a disadvantage. I immediately take it and I open it up and it's 10 coins. My intuition told me to open it up, right? That I had a good feeling about it. So I'm thinking, wow, I can go to the vending machine and I could buy snacks and I could take care of my people. So they came out, the producers, and they said, that's not what we want you to do. You had to wait you had to wait like 15 minutes. When they hear the sound again, that person's going to select someone to give it to. So they took it back out and they changed what was in it. I didn't want any part of it anymore, right? Because my intuition said to go for the second one, and they took it from me. So I wanted nothing to do with it anymore.
And that's when you told him, nah, I felt like it was mine. And then that's what we saw in the final edit was you saying no.
Right. I don't want to know more. Right, exactly. So it goes to one hand to another hand, and finally goes to this one player, Shelly, I think her name is. She actually goes up. There was a flu going around. So I was laying in my bed a lot. I didn't want to get sick because if I get sick, I'm going home. I'm not good with being sick. So the rule was if you get offered the nesting doll, you cannot deny it. You have to accept it. So she offers it to player 111, August, who's a sweetheart. August denies it 3 times. He even opens it a little bit and sees that it's the last one. A player next to him says, player 098 wanted it. Why don't you go back and give it to him? I'm like, oh my God. My name is being thrown. My number's being thrown under the bus.
You're
now,
over there hiding under the blankets.
So I'm laying in the blanket, right? And now all of a sudden I'm being called out, right? So,
why didn't the twins get called out?
So they come over to me with the nesting doll, and after a few minutes, I'm like all about God's intervention, right? Whatever's meant to be is gonna be. I have it, no problem. I go in the back and we start talking. And I'm like, wasn't the rule that you can't deny it? And they're like, yeah, do you want us to do something about it? I'm like, what could you do about it? You want to go flop me for the guy outside that denied it? I said, I'll be a dead goose. Are you kidding me? I says, it is what it is. I got to take it no matter what. Right? Respect. So now I get on the phone, and they tell me you have to pick somebody to eliminate. They didn't say I have to put myself up against somebody else in an elimination, a vote off. They said I have to pick somebody to eliminate. They bring out the board, and in my mind, I already know who I'm going to pick because he's got a twin brother. There's 2 of him. He already fucked up excuse my language, in the game before, right? They're only looking out for themselves, and he's the best shot I have. So they tell me that I have to pick somebody, and I pick 431. So now as I'm on the phone, they tell me, hold on. So I'm like, hold on, where the fuck are they going? Right? Like, what's going? They come back on the phone and tell me, you're going to have to put yourself up on a vote of elimination against 431. So the whole scenario changed. So soon as I gave them the number that they knew I could beat and it was going to be a good thing on TV, they changed the whole scenario.
Those rats.
They changed the whole scenario.
Those rat bastards.
Yeah.
Changed the whole scenario on me. So I'm like, are you kidding me? You guys just changed the whole scenario. And again, I'm like, you know what? No problem. this is where, in my mindset, I'm like, look, I'm dealing with a lot of emotions. I'm upset about missing my family. Every night I go to bed, I'm depressed. I'm not eating because I have ulcerative colitis, and the porridge is like cardboard.
Oh God,
So
it's
a lot
bad.
of things are building up. And I took what was building up inside, and I knew
Cut
that
to
when
the
I went out
crocodile
there,
tears.
I should not reveal who I picked yet because I don't want to give him a leg up, and I don't want anybody to try to go around and talk for votes. So I wasn't going to say who I was voting against. And I went up on the stage and I sold myself, but in an authentic way because I was emotionally upset. And I said, I do not want to put myself up against anybody else. I did not want the nesting doll. You guys gave it to me, but this is the situation I have. And since I have to, and I'm here for my family, I'm going to put myself up against someone else. And when we got closer, I said, I'm putting myself up against 431 because there's two of them and one of me, which believe it or not, those two against me have nothing, no boundaries whatsoever. I would wipe circles around them. That's how good Steve even could tell you, because I can already tell Steve, you already know, Steve. I'm from New York. You could put four of those twins up against me, and the way my mind works, it's just no brainer. I know exactly what I have to do. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I already knew going into it. I need to let them hear who I am as a person. I need to be authentic, and I gave them that. And I think that I said enough that needed to be done in order for me to remain in the game, and it worked for my advantage. But it was authentic.
Did you feel like you were betraying them at all since they were, or one of them since they were on your team originally?
To feel good about the decision I made, I just thought about the O's. That's all I had to keep thinking about. How the O's got destroyed, they were gone, and somehow 431 got back into the
Oh,
game.
yep.
And that really kind of like bothered me. Not only that, but all the X's were upset because they had to take out three X's in the beginning of the game that deserved to still be there. Now I think the Twins are amazing people, but if I have to stay in the game and it's me against one of them or both of them, I'm doing what I have to stay in the game.
Respect.
So I mean, it's just the bottom line. I mean, that's how I felt
I
about
agree.
it.
Do you feel
Some
like
things that they did that were not good.
do you feel like they pivoted on the decision to get rid of the O twin because they were twins, kind of like how they changed it up last second on you, production that is?
Like also they try to get rid of Mark, right? You could see like they were thinking about people that they were trying to find a reason to get rid of certain people, what they would do with the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just think they was set up to be wrong no matter what, and that's no fault of their own. It's just how the producers saw them, right? They brought one twin back. They had to make decisions to keep themselves in the game, and then they did a little put ourselves in the front in the game of catch, and not only that, we're going to try to give the easiest throw that's going to keep us in the game, and I think they were set up for failure no matter what. And I got caught in the mix as well, which kind of upset me.
Yeah, you were kind of drug into it by circumstance, but I also feel like at every step of the way leading up to that and through that, you played the cards the best you could. You were dealt a hand and you maximized your chance of succeeding by the twin you selected, by getting them to throw it to you the whole 9 yards. I think you killed it, man.
Yeah. Look, it's all game, right? And the only thing I wasn't going to do is be deceitful to someone or dishonest about anything. Because in my mind, if I want to win, I have kids. I want to be a hero to my kids. I need the viewers at home to want me to want to win, right? So I wanted to do it in a way that was going to be that if I was at the end and I was crossing that finish line, that red light, green light, the people at home were going to be okay with it. So for me, I just wanted to be honest and authentic. I didn't want to deceive anybody in any way, and it doesn't hurt me to have a mastermind in doing it.
I mean, you are clearly a good guy. We've asked quite a few people, and they're all saying that you're a good guy, which makes me wonder, how do you feel about the final edit and how they made you look like an antagonist or the heel?
I feel like everything was going good, like the first four episodes. I feel like everybody at home, as far as like this guy's a contender, he's gonna be in there for the long run, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden, here comes episode 5 and 6, and it's like it looks like I'm being secluded. I was hungry. I'm missing my carbs. I'm missing my calories. I knew that the chores coming up was going to be something where you were going to get a good treat when they got like pancakes, which I really could have used. And I was already losing my energy. I wasn't feeling good. Every chance I could, I was just gonna lay down and relax. But it kind of made me look like I was being secluded and pushed outside of the circle, which I was okay with because I welcome it. I really do. You know, if you guys have something against me being loud and exciting, I'm gonna come at you full force if I have to, you know. So I did the best I could to remain in the game is the best way I knew how to. But I knew the end was coming, and I knew that they were looking for a reason to continue to eliminate someone, and I was the number one target to for them to find. So I just had to keep battling as much as I could. Now the whole situation going inside the little room, I got put with the wrong people. If you want to start talking about that, let me know
Oh yeah,
before I answer any
yeah.
before if you have any other questions. But I'll let you know what happened inside there.
Yeah, well, tell us about that whole experience of ending up not making it through, but from like the game plans, I heard there was a lot of strategy for it. Yeah, just
Yeah,
walk us through that game and what was your plan going into it, and how did that change once
yeah.
things actually
So
started?
my intuition was correct once again because I don't really like to volunteer for stuff, but I knew that for some reason I needed to be a tour monitor, right? And somehow they forced me out of it. And I don't usually let people win, but I'm like, even if I argue with them now and try to get my way, they're still gonna gun for me. So I was like, let me just zip it and just take a step back and somehow recoup. So they go, and now I'm on the opposite side of the situation. And if you see Greg, who was on my team, he kind of put that team together, which is another big mistake because he wasn't a target of mine because I didn't see him as a strong opponent and I would have left him in the game, right? So we get put in the room with this guy, Karim and Greg, and we're inside the room. And I hear the rules once. I don't need to hear the rule again. I know exactly what's coming. I know what's got to be done. Soon as they tell me, one of you have to eliminate yourselves and two stay, but you have to beat the other side, I started to rip off my tag. As I'm starting to rip off my tag, the player Kareem, he looks at me and says, "Look, man, you got a lot of targets on your back." And then I was like, you're playing mind games. And I just decided right off the bat, I'm not going to self eliminate myself. I'm here for my family. I'm not going to have someone play mind games with me. And now we're going to have to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to hear the rules again, which in my mind, I'm already saying to myself, this is going to end
That's
in
time.
disaster because we should have already had our patches off, mixing them around and putting one in.
Yeah.
But I already knew that they were not processing it the way I was processing it.
Do you think you could have
Kareem
taken
was,
a little bit
but
more
Greg,
control during that situation?
say it again.
Do you think you could have taken a little bit more control, a little bit more of a lead to say, here's exactly what we're doing, let's move?
I think the more aggressive I got, the more worried they got. Right? I said the best I could.
Yeah.
Greg was trying to comprehend it, and I was like, I'm going to tell you this as best as I can. We have to put one. They put us in the situation. We have to put something into the box. One of us have to go, and two of us stay. But they need to go. They put us in this situation. Do you understand that? And finally, it was like, okay, we're going to play a game, but it's got to be twice. And I'm like,
Ah,
oh, we're done here, you know.
yeah.
And by the time we turned around and we start playing the game, which I didn't lose any of it, um, it was already too late.
Yeah.
We didn't lose by seconds. We ended up losing by like 2 minutes.
Oh damn.
That's
Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask. In the final edit, it was bink, bink, but you're saying it was
yeah,
just they took too long comprehending and dragging their feet.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. They're good people. Nothing against them, but um, applaud to the other side because they put me in the room with the wrong people. Because not everybody takes information in the same way, and that's nothing to say anything bad about them. It's just I always think on my feet. You look, I hear something, and I rather react and think about what I did afterwards, and it's usually the right thing to
100%.
do. And I was just I was dead in the water. I was a dead fish in the water, and it sucks. And on the other side, what they said was the woman Kate did not want to participate in a mini game to try to figure out who would stay and who would go. So now we're playing 3 against 2, and that's how it ended up. You know, the only thing I am
Wow.
bothered by, and I'm happy to have heard Steve was on my side because I had his vote for top 5. The only thing that bothers me is I don't have a big following, but they put the Twins back for top 5, and I didn't make it. And I got out with no fault of my own. I played a hard-earned game,
Mm-hmm.
and not to get a second chance kind of sucks.
Yeah, I would have to agree. You played well in every facet of the game, from what I could tell. But you said you're quick on your feet, which made me think of this rumor we heard about of a guard passing out. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. So I've been a first responder my whole life. I can't even tell you countless saving people from CPR, AED, gunshot wounds, all that stuff. So as
So
we're
cool.
we're in the white room and there's many hours going by and they call it a comfort break. You can't even have a comfort break. There's a lot of commotion going on in the front of the room, and the guard starts to weave back and forth like this. So everybody's like, no, we can't get up, don't go anywhere. And I'm like, the guy's weaving back and forth. He's in a suit. What do you mean? So as soon as he raised his hand up, I just instantaneously got up and I literally had to run to the front of the room. And I left my feet and I caught him. He passed out like in the middle of the air, and I caught
Oh
his
wow.
head before it hit the ground, which could have caused a concussion. Me, 086, Daryl, a few people, Kelly went out of their way to make sure that we did what we could to rip off his mask, give him water. Um, and I'm lucky to have been there. But when I turned around to go back to my seat, there were people giving applause, but they were also saying "Way to go, 098," and that bothered me a little bit because now my number is known.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of bothered me a little bit because you don't want people to know your number, but it was for a good reason. We ended up helping the guard.
Let
Thank
no
you for
good
bringing it
deed
up.
go unpunished.
Yeah, dude, you're a
Yeah.
freaking
Well,
hero.
they said all the people we've interviewed have said that it definitely changed the way they looked at you, and they respected the hell out of you being willing to get up and do something. So
Yeah.
regardless of
Yeah.
the game, I mean, obviously real life is more important than that. And yeah, I think it shows your character, dog. That was incredible.
Yeah.
I
And
will.
the speed too. The speed.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
And
Oh
the
yeah, I used to be
instinct.
fast. Yeah. Look, I
You
I try to think about my gameplay. Of course, you go home, you get depressed, you get sad. But the fact of the matter is, even if I knew what the outcome was going to be, you just can't take something out of me, right? That's
Yeah.
just who I am.
that
If
dog.
I'm in a if
Dog.
I'm in a game and you try to betray me after you make a promise, I have to say something. And that was my turning point in my entire game on how people have to find a reason to get rid of you. And that was their reason for getting rid of me is, I was just loud.
Yeah. You caught a guard's head from hitting the ground and he didn't think you could catch a ball.
Yeah.
Clown.
Yeah.
I will say I know how the white room goes. I spent many hours in the white room, and at one point, I was getting dizzy. The walls started spinning, and I had to go lay down because of, I guess,
Yeah.
malnourishment and just being in a white, weird ass bright room for 12
And,
hours
and I
straight.
gotta and I gotta tell you, there's nothing more. I try to put my feet in other people's shoes, and when I think about how you went out, Steve, it's got to be like an emptiness inside of you too. It's like you when I saw you look at yourself like me, really, and that your game had to end the
He had
way
to
it
check his
did.
number.
It's just unsettling, you know. It just sucks, you know. You look at yourself and be like, oh, you got to be kidding me, not like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt, I was going to say, dog, there are people who essentially in season 1 and season 2 skated through under the radar by pure luck and chance. I feel like you had the most adversity and were still able to jump through all those hoops, overcome all those obstacles, and get out by something unlucky as other people not just handling their business. So, yeah, man.
100%. Yeah, look, I agree 100%. When they interview you, they want to know who you really are. They don't want someone that's going to come on there and just be mute and skate all the way through to the ends. And then you want to find out why, you're not a main character and how come you didn't get a lot of screen time. I am a firm believer that everybody has a piece of them inside of them, right? Just let it come out, be exactly who you are, stay authentic, and the people will love you for the person that you are, right? And that's
Agreed.
just what I strongly believe in. I just not the type to stay quiet, and that's just going to be my gameplay until I get to the end of the road.
100%. Well, it worked out for you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I had a bunch. Oops, I had a bunch of friends in the dorm and a big alliance, much bigger than what it even appeared. And a lot of people were complaining about production and just running their mouths the whole time. And I had to tell them, I was like, if you guys want screen time and you want any interview, stop bad mouthing the crew and the process and play along, play the game, react, be authentic and in the moment. And so, did you have that issue? Did you notice anybody complaining about like production and whatnot?
You could see animosity towards some people when other people would go in for the MIVs, go out for the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my thing was I never talk bad about anybody, right? So even when I hear like this fly on the wall or rumors, circulating, I try to keep myself out of it, right? Which it's called trial by error, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we have to look at is season one and what mistakes people like you guys made, right? You had a group, and a lot of people may have had some animosity towards the group that you formulated, but
Gongbu
that's
gang.
nothing wrong on your part. You found good people that you trusted, that you went into the games with, and that it worked out in your advantage. I was just never the type of person to listen to anybody getting upset about how much screen time you had or why am I not getting enough. And if they did say anything, I kind of just like separated myself from any of that what was going on. So
Yeah, people were definitely getting upset and jealous about how much screen time and attention I was getting because from day one, I was getting the interviews, going to the mid room, which I complained to production. I was like, yeah, this is cool doing a couple, but you guys are bringing me back way too often. And it contradicts my game plan because I didn't want anybody to know me. I wanted to be a little shinobi in the shadows, hiding the whole time, which I was what I was doing. I was never on the floor unless I had to be.
100%.
And they pretty
Yeah,
much
like
ruined that.
there was
Put a
times
target
I
on my
had to go
back.
out for medicine, and I was like, if you guys are gonna do an interview, do it while I'm getting the medication, because the more you guys take me out there, two things are gonna happen. One, not only are players going to have animosity towards you, but two, players are going to want to come closer to you and want to be around you. And during these games that are happening, they're going to want to be on you. Like you could see who the contenders were, who you want to be around, who you felt comfortable, being teaming up with.
Mhm.
I don't really think the game was a lot of luck. I thought a lot of it was strategic, a lot of strategies on you knew who to be with and when. Each game I try to be with more different people so that I didn't close doors.
Yep, 100%. And I don't know if you know this, but uh, I got eliminated supposedly because I didn't have any women in my alliance, which is what she said, but it didn't make the final cut, which is why I was so shocked because I mean, I
It's
was talking to the ladies. I had the most diverse group for sure, literally from episode 1. So
yeah,
that just kind of made
yeah.
me
It's
feel like
just
shit.
look. Anybody's gonna find a reason or an excuse to say why they eliminated someone, but the fact of the matter is, there was no real good excuse, right? You
Other than
kept
he's
to
a
yourself.
threat.
You had a
Yeah.
good team. You had Rick on your team, right? He was like the nicest guy in the world. Seeing him leave too was like a dagger in the heart, right? But
Hmm.
also in the back of my mind, the money doesn't seem realistic until you get to like the top 10. And in my mind, if the production likes who you are, they're going to help keep you around. And I felt like they helped keep me around a lot of the time.
Yeah, definitely some things went your way. And I was going to ask, I know you said you did your best at every step of the way. And I like what the way you characterized it is you don't dwell on decisions. You have the information you have, make a choice, move forward, figure it out later if you need to change something. But
Exactly.
um, is there a moment that you think if you could go back, you would do something a different way?
Um I think yeah. I think if I had to go back and do some things again, it would probably be not raising my voice so much to the twin, but I felt like I needed to because he actually called out the number and was ready to throw the ball there. But I feel like maybe, not put myself in between the twins or behind the twins. I wish I could have kept my distance because they were the main targets from the get go. They were
Mhm.
young, popular, good looking, and they already had an X against them, no pun intended, when 431 came back and they made a conscious
Yeah.
decision to eliminate people to keep themselves in the game. So
Yeah.
I think I would have just kept my distance a little more towards
And
them, and that's how I really feel. I just feel like maybe I just wouldn't have gotten as loud.
yeah,
I had to work
and
really
duos
hard in my
just
game to
oh,
to build trust and let people know that I was really, even though I was an exciting person, I'm a good-hearted person. That I'm there for the right reasons, just like everybody else. And today, I don't have any problems with any players. We all have a great relationship, and for that, I'm thankful for.
Awesome.
Well, we got
okay.
to wrap up.
Need to
Yeah.
wrap up?
It
Mhm.
Yeah.
needs to upload before
Go ahead.
10.
Go ahead and wrap it up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Matt, that's going to do it for us. Unless you have any parting words, we got to get this thing uploaded. But I appreciate the hell out of
Yeah.
you taking your time. And I think that I'm super thankful for you having the opportunity to share with us about your gameplay, about who you are, because I definitely see you in a new light. And you are now one of my favorite characters, I would say, the most
Thank you.
authentic, and you are who you
Yeah.
are.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man, you're a
Absolutely,
beast.
Matt.
Absolute pleasure meeting you, dude. You did very well in the
Thanks,
game,
Steve.
and I would have loved to have seen you in season 3. That's why I gave you my endorsement. So well done, man.